Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're going to be tackling something that's got the whole tech world buzzing: China's proposed export curbs on electric vehicle tech. We're talking the guts of batteries here, folks. Lithium, gallium, the stuff that powers our electric dreams. Now, this isn't just for the EV nerds out there. This could impact all of us. So make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and share this video. You won't want to miss what's coming. What's really striking is just how much of the production of these materials China already controls. They're responsible for a massive 70% of the global lithium processing market. So to understand the leverage this gives them, think about the specific technology for refining lithium into battery-grade chemicals. China's got a tight grip on that, giving them immense influence as the world races toward electric vehicle. Okay, so they've got the upper hand. What are they actually doing that's causing all this commotion? Well, recently China proposed adding battery cathode technology to their export control list. And they've also banned the sale of certain semiconductor materials to the U.S. It's hard not to see this as a calculated response to recent U.S. actions. Resource weaponization, right? I've heard that term being thrown around. Feels a bit like those historical examples of countries using oil or rare earth minerals for political leverage. But how is this different from just plain economic competition? Well, that's the crucial question. I mean, every country tries to capitalize on its strengths, but resource weaponization goes beyond that. It's about deliberately restricting access to vital resources, not for purely economic reasons, but to achieve specific geopolitical goals. It's about control and coercion. And in this case, China's dominance in lithium processing and its recent export restrictions really fit that bill. Well, okay, I see the distinction now. This isn't just business, it's strategic. But let's get practical here. What does this weaponization actually mean for the global electric vehicle industry? Well, think price hikes for starters. Imagine lithium prices jumping by, say, 20% or even more. That's a huge blow to EV manufacturers trying to keep costs down. Then there's the disruption to the global supply chain. Companies that rely on Chinese lithium or technology could face delays and shortages, potentially impacting production and innovation in the entire EV sector. Yikes. So this could really throw a wrench in the works for those Western companies. Yeah, banking on Chinese technology. Exactly. Imagine being a company that's suddenly cut off from the tech it needs to produce a key component for EV batteries. It's a scramble for alternatives, and it's not going to be easy or cheap. Yeah, it's a real wake-up call, isn't it? This situation really exposes the vulnerabilities of relying so heavily on one country for such a critical resource. I think it forces us to confront the potential consequences of this interconnected world we built. It's definitely eye-opening. But okay, let's shift gears a bit. What about the U.S.? With a new Trump administration coming in, how do you see them responding to these moves by China? Well, predicting a Trump administration is always tricky, but no. A passive response seems pretty unlikely. They might double down on protectionist measures, perhaps even try to accelerate domestic lithium production. However, building a robust domestic supply chain takes time and resources. In the meantime, they might look to forge stronger alliances with countries like Australia and Canada, who possess significant lithium reserves, but lack China's processing capacity. Remember the rare earth crisis of 2010. Japan and South Korea, heavily reliant on China for those materials, had to scramble for alternatives, pushing them towards closer partnerships with other resource-rich nations. We might see a similar pattern emerge now. So potentially a reshuffling of global alliances on the horizon, and that's fascinating. But what about other countries? They can't all just team up with the US, can they? Of course not. The global landscape is far more nuanced than that. Some nations might choose to remain neutral, walking a tightrope between the US and China. Others, particularly those with close economic ties to China, might be hesitant to take sides. You know, this situation has the potential to fracture existing trade relationships and create new alliances based on resource dependencies. We're already seeing companies like Tesla and Volkswagen exploring alternative sourcing options for lithium, looking to countries like Chile and Argentina to diversify their supply chains. It's like a high-stakes game of chess. Yeah, with everyone maneuvering for position. But let's bring it back to those Western companies struggling to adapt. Now, what are some concrete solutions they can pursue beyond just diversification? Well, investing in domestic production is one route, although it's a long and expensive one. Look at what happened with solar panels. China dominated the market for years, but government incentives and investments in the US and Europe helped foster domestic production, eventually shifting the balance. A similar approach could be applied to lithium processing, but it requires political will and significant financial commitments. So, a bit of a gamble. What else is on the table? Well, then there's the exciting, yet challenging realm of alternative battery technologies. If we can move away from lithium ion altogether, it would significantly reduce our dependence on these contested resources. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. What are some of the front runners in this battery revolution? Well, sodium ion batteries are emerging as a potential contender. Sodium is abundant and inexpensive, making it a very appealing alternative. They may not pack the same energy density as lithium ion, but they could be ideal for things like stationary energy storage, or even some electric vehicles where weight isn't a primary concern. So, horses for courses, different batteries for different needs. What else is out there? Well, there's a lot of buzz around solid-state batteries. Imagine a battery with no flammable liquid components, potentially offering higher energy density, faster charging times, and improved safety. While still in the early stages of development, several companies are making significant progress. Toyota, for example, is aiming to have solid-state batteries in electric vehicles by the mid-2020s. Solid-state batteries. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. It's incredible to see how this pressure is pushing innovation forward. Absolutely. Necessity is often the mother of invention, and this situation is a prime example. But it's not just about technology. It's also about changing our mindset. We need to move away from this winner-takes-all mentality and embrace a more collaborative approach to global challenges. So instead of battling over scarce resources, we need to find ways to work together to ensure everyone has access to the technology and resources they need to thrive. Precisely. This situation is a stark reminder of how interconnected our world truly is and how crucial global solutions are for global challenges. This has been an insightful conversation, but there's still so much to unpack. We've discussed the challenges and explored some potential solutions. Join us in the final part as we delve deeper into the individual actions we can take to navigate this complex landscape. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss the conclusion of this crucial discussion. Welcome back, everyone. We've spent the last two parts really dissecting this tech war between the U.S. and China, the potential for resource weaponization, and the scramble for solutions in the EV industry. It's a lot to process, I know, right? But we're not just going to leave you hanging with all this uncertainty. Right, we've talked about the big picture, the global chessboard, if you will. But what does this all mean for you, the listener? What can you actually do in the face of these global shifts? That's the million-dollar question. We can't all build battery factories in our backyards. So where do we start? Well, I think awareness is key. Start by looking at your own tech consumption. Take that smartphone in your pocket, for example. Do you know where the lithium in its battery comes from? What companies are involved in its production? I think understanding the supply chains of the products we use every day is a powerful first step. I'll admit I've never really thought about where the materials in my phone come from. It's easy to take these gadgets for granted, so becoming more informed consumers, that's one action item. What else? Well, support companies that are committed to ethical sourcing and sustainability. Look for brands that are transparent about their supply chains and actively working to reduce their environmental impact. Your purchasing decisions can send a strong signal to the market, encouraging companies to prioritize responsible practices. So we can vote with our wallets, so to speak. It's like a ripple effect, right? If enough consumers demand change, companies will have to listen. Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of your voice. Engage in conversations about these issues with your friends, family, and even your elected officials. Advocate for policies that promote responsible resource management and international cooperation. Yeah, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by these global challenges, but it's important to remember that individual actions do matter. Absolutely. This situation has highlighted the interconnectedness of our world, and it requires a collective response. We all have a role to play in creating a more sustainable and equitable future. Well said. This has been an incredible conversation, and a big thank you to our expert for navigating us through this complex topic. And to all of you listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Remember to subscribe, like, and share this episode with your friends. The more we talk about these issues, the more we can work together to shape a brighter future. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep exploring.